He got a contract that was close to $500 million, even though less than 150 is pretty much guaranteed, for according to my calculations. Don't matter. He deserves every penny he gets. No question about it. But we ain't going to sit up here and act like he ain't one of the luckiest dudes either.
You know that Patrick Mahomes, on and off the field, is the guy you want as your franchise standard bearer. Just led you to a Super Bowl championship, and obviously to get Patrick Mahomes to agree to something that long, you got to make it worth his while.
Look at how Patrick Mahomes thinks about it, right? He says, hey, look, I'm cool. I got my money, but I want to have plenty of money. And how many times did Tom every year say, look, I'm going to restructure I want plenty of money to get people that can come help me win Super Bowls. And so just with that mentality, he could all get.
Stephen A. Smith has never tiptoed around Patrick Mahomes, not once. From questioning the whole GOAT conversation to ripping Mahomes' decision-making in big moments, Stephen A. has been in his lane for years, and he's never backed off. But this time, he didn't just criticize the quarterback. He cracked open a conversation that made fans nervous about something way bigger than wins and losses: Mahomes' money and power structure around him. This all traces back to early 2021, when Mahomes was riding sky high after his first Super Bowl ring and preparing to face Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Mahomes looked untouchable, the league's golden boy, and most analysts were already crowning him. That's when Stephen A. went on First Take and dropped a line that froze people mid-scroll. He suggested Mahomes' greatness wasn't just talent, but timing, protection, coaching.
As a spectator who's covered sports for 30 years now, let me tell you this. Patrick Mahomes may be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It's the first time in his career I've seen him embarrass himself.
And a stacked Chiefs roster doing heavy lifting. Fans were stunned because Stephen A. said out loud what most people wouldn't. The implication was clear: strip away the elite support system and Mahomes might not shine the same. That comment planted a seed, and it followed Mahomes straight into the Super Bowl loss that changed the tone of the conversation. Kansas City got smacked 31-9 by Tampa Bay. Mahomes ran for his life all night, and Stephen A. wasted no time firing off a viral post saying, "No more GOAT talk." That single sentence exploded. Mahomes finished with no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and constant pressure in his face. And Stephen A. made sure nobody forgot it. At just 25, Mahomes already had an MVP and a ring.
First of all, you're going to quote me accurately, because I saw they played my quote from yesterday about, no, the GOAT status is gone. For the foreseeable future, the next 2 to 3 years, we ain't going to be having no conversation about no GOAT. Not after what we saw in the Super Bowl.
But Stephen A. wasn't impressed. He doubled down, saying a real GOAT doesn't get embarrassed on the biggest stage, and that take hit hard. The bar was set sky high, and Stephen A. made it clear Mahomes hadn't cleared it. Fast forward to December 2023, and here we go again. The Chiefs lose to the Bills after a costly offsides call wipes out a game-winning touchdown. Mahomes slams his helmet, yells at officials, and vents post-game. Stephen A. praised his talent, then dropped the hammer, saying it was the first time he'd seen Mahomes embarrass himself. Then he dragged Andy Reid into it, questioning control, leadership, and culture. This wasn't just about one outburst anymore. Stephen A. wasn't critiquing a play. He was challenging the entire Chiefs ecosystem around Mahomes, and that's where things got real loud. Stephen A. didn't stop at players anymore. He started hinting that even the most respected quarterback-coach duo in the NFL could drift into unprofessional territory. That alone raised eyebrows, because when Stephen A. starts questioning structure and discipline, he's not just talking ball, he's talking legacy. Fast forward to February 2025, right before the Chiefs clashed with the Eagles in Super Bowl 59.
Patrick Mahomes now finally getting market value, which is very, very, very high, as we'll see, I'm sure, when the final numbers are out.
Mahomes' 5th Super Bowl trip with 3 rings already secured. Most analysts were ready to celebrate history, but Stephen A. went the opposite direction on First Take. He ignored the resume and zoomed straight in on the pressure moments, pointing out Mahomes' 5 interceptions across 4 Super Bowls and a passer rating sitting at 85.2! The message was sharp. Dominate the season, but sometimes wobble under the brightest lights. Then Philly blew the Chiefs out 40-22, and Stephen A. unloaded. Mahomes finished 21 of 32 for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, and got sacked 6 times. Stephen A. acknowledged the talent, then sliced it apart, comparing Mahomes unfavorably to Brady and Montana. He pointed out their Super Bowl losses were tight wars, while Mahomes came as blowouts, saying that matters when you're talking GOAT status. That's Stephen A.'s real skill.
I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment. I know we keep communicating.
He waits for Mahomes' lowest moments, then delivers criticism wrapped in respect but sharpened with precision. He doesn't sound petty, he sounds calculated. Stats, film, historical comps, all laid out like a masterclass, which is why people still listen even when they disagree. As Mahomes keeps stacking wins and chasing history, Stephen A stays right there, hyping him one week and tearing him down the next. That's why he controls the conversation, not just reports it. And Mahomes remains the perfect counterpunch to Stephen A's fire.
Patrick Mahomes is great, but so is Josh Allen, so is Lamar Jackson, so is Joe Burrow. Why does Patrick Mahomes win, especially when it comes to those guys?
But while Stephen A keeps challenging Mahomes' on-field legacy, another storyline has quietly grown louder: his massive financial empire. Does Mahomes really deserve every dollar? Or is timing and fortune doing more work than people admit? To understand that, you have to understand who Mahomes is. Born September 17, 1995 in Tyler, Texas, to former MLB pitcher Pat Mahomes Sr. and Randy Martin, he grew up surrounded by sports. A three-sport standout in high school, he exploded at Texas Tech with a cannon arm and fearless style. When Kansas City drafted him 10th overall in 2017, nobody knew they were watching the start of an NFL phenomenon. 3 Super Bowl wins, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 league MVPs, and 6 straight AFC championship appearances later, Mahomes isn't just a quarterback, he's a brand.
Think about these moments with Patrick Mahomes. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He's a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Fair enough. And we know he's the best in the game today. There's nothing to debate about that. There's something else that comes with it, too. His performance in those 2 Super Bowl losses. You know he's been outscored by 40 points.
And that's where the real debate starts heating up. That resume already puts Patrick Mahomes in rare air. And by 2025, that on-field dominance has turned into serious money. His net worth now sits around $90 million, built from massive contracts, non-stop endorsements, and smart long-term investments. But this empire didn't pop up overnight. Back in 2017, Mahomes entered the league on a relatively modest rookie deal. 4 years, $16.42 million fully guaranteed, with a $10.1 million signing bonus. Big money for a rookie quarterback, sure, but nothing compared to what was coming next. Then July 2020 changed everything. Mahomes signed a jaw-dropping 10-year, $450 million extension that could balloon to $503 million with incentives. The deal included $63 million guaranteed at signing, $141 million in injury guarantees, and an average of roughly $45 million per year. That contract didn't just reset the market, it crowned Mahomes as the face of the franchise and one of the most powerful players in sports. But the NFL never stops. By 2023, new megadeals from Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts reshuffled the salary board.
Always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment. I know we keep communicating.
Suddenly, Mahomes' once untouchable deal ranked only 8th among quarterbacks. That was shocking for the league's golden star. Kansas City moved fast. In September 2023, the Chiefs reworked his contract, guaranteeing a staggering $210.6 million between 2023 and 2026, the most ever across a 4-year span. With incentives, that number could climb to $218.1 million. The restructure injected about $48 million in fresh money and pushed Mahomes right back toward the top of the money mountain. By 2024, Mahomes had already earned around $182 million from football alone, ranking among the highest-paid active players. If this pace holds, projections suggest he could surpass Tom Brady's career earnings by 2030.
Obviously, we lost our quarterback, man. Patty Mahomes, our guy, our brother, our fearless leader, our face of the franchise. And to an ACL, it's never easy seeing your guys go down. We had a bunch of guys get hurt this past game, and for the season to be going like it did, and we're on our last quest to try and keep our playoff hopes alive there in the fourth quarter, and on a freakish play to see 1-5 go down like that, man, it was almost like it wasn't real. It just sucks, man, for a guy that puts in that much and puts his body on the line week in, week out, and
that's just the field work. Mahomes is playing chess off the field too. Endorsements with Adidas, Oakley, State Farm, Head & Shoulders, DirecTV, Subway, EA Sports, and more bring in massive cash. Forbes reported he pulled in roughly $20 million from sponsorships in 2023 alone. His Oakley partnership launched a signature eyewear line, and he became the first Chiefs player ever on the cover of Madden NFL 20. Add smart investments, and Mahomes' empire keeps growing. In 2020, at just 24, Mahomes made a historic move, spending about $10 million for a 1% stake in the Kansas City Royals, becoming the youngest owner in major sports history. That single move tied Patrick Mahomes even deeper to Kansas City, the city that turned him into a legend, while positioning him to profit from the exploding value of pro sports franchises. This wasn't a flashy headline grab. It was a calculated power move that blended loyalty with business vision, and Mahomes wasn't finished. In 2021, he joined the ownership group of Sporting Kansas City in the MLS, expanding his footprint across the city's sports landscape. The financial details stayed quiet, but the message was loud. Mahomes wanted roots, influence, and long-term equity in Kansas City sports. Then came another strategic step. Mahomes and his wife Brittany Mahomes became part owners of the Kansas City Current of the NWSL. That move signaled more than profit. It showed commitment to women's sports and deeper investment in the community that supports him every Sunday. By 2023, Mahomes went global. He joined a powerful investment group led by TPG Capital, teaming up with Travis Kelce and golfer Rory McIlroy to invest roughly €200 million, about $215 million, into Formula One's Alpine team. That deal pushed Mahomes beyond football and into international business territory, proving his vision reaches far past the NFL. Off the field, his portfolio keeps expanding. Mahomes partnered with KMO Burgers to bring Whataburger locations to the Kansas City area starting in 2022, turning personal taste into profit. He also invested in Whoop, a fitness tech company valued at $3.6 billion, and Hyperice, a recovery brand that raised over $100 million. These moves show a clear strategy: diversify, scale, and think long-term. Real estate plays a major role too. Mahomes bought a Kansas City home in 2017 for $1.9 million, later selling it for just under $3 million.
No doubt about it. He deserves our praise, our respect, our deference. I'm not taking anything away from him. But I'll tell you this. There's a slew of quarterbacks in the NFL. You give them those weapons, they would have enjoyed the same success.
He added a $3.4 million Dallas mansion, then leveled up with his biggest flex, an 8-acre estate in Belton, Missouri, complete with a custom mansion, pool, private pond, par 3 golf hole, and a half-size soccer field. It's built for both luxury and longevity. What stands out most is what hasn't happened. Despite massive spending and constant investing, Mahomes has avoided the financial pitfalls that derail so many athletes. That kind of discipline at this level is rare. His wealth isn't luck. It's calculated, protected by smart management and guaranteed NFL money. All of Patrick Mahomes' major stakes, from the Kansas City Royals, Sporting Kansas City, the Kansas City Current and Alpine F1, to businesses like Whataburger, Whoop, and Hyperice, all come with one reality. Markets shift, teams rise and fall, and performance can change fast. That means values can climb just as quickly as they can dip. Take his $10 million Royals investment. That's a long-term bet tied directly to team performance and franchise growth. If the Royals surge, that stake could explode in value. If the team struggles or the market cools, the return could slow. The same risk applies to his Formula One investment with Alpine. In motorsports, results, sponsorships, and tech advantages shift rapidly, making it one of the most volatile arenas in global sports. Yet here's the key detail. So far, there have been no reported financial losses or major setbacks tied to Mahomes' portfolio. That alone separates him from countless athletes who rushed into bad deals or risky ventures. The real financial hits Mahomes has faced aren't losses, they're opportunity costs. His Super Bowl 55 loss in 2021 and Super Bowl 59 loss in 2025 cost him performance bonuses, including a $1.25 million escalator tied to championships. Missed rings also mean missed endorsement bumps because championships amplify brand value. He didn't lose money outright, but those moments came with real price tags. Then there's his contract. While the 10-year deal signed in 2020 was historic, critics have labeled it team-friendly. By 2023, his $45 million annual average ranked outside the top tier of quarterback salaries, trailing deals like Joe Burrow's and Dak Prescott's. Some analysts even called it the biggest bargain in NFL history. Great for Kansas City, less ideal for Mahomes' max earning potential. But Mahomes made his priorities crystal clear. In May 2023, he said, "I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money." That mindset is rare in a league built on chasing the biggest contract possible. The Chiefs' 2023 restructure boosted short-term guarantees, but it didn't erase the fact that Mahomes could have pushed harder financially. What stands out most is how few real losses he's taken. His Super Bowl defeats didn't drain his bank account. They only meant missed bonuses, not damage. That's the pattern.
Makes this football world, he makes the best of it, man, by how hard he works. And we're going to fight for him from here on out and then go out there and try to win some ball games with my guy, G. Obviously, it came out that the surgery went well. And, I mean, he's a warrior, man. I'm telling you, this guy's played through everything, battled through everything, then crowned champion because he's battled through everything, and he's going to battle through this. It's the only way this guy is wired, man. He's a fearless warrior when it comes to this football thing, and he's going to make sure that he comes back stronger than ever, and hopefully the Chiefs can get him back as soon as possible. I know right now it's kind of right around that week 1 or the beginning of the season next year, so I know he's going to be doing everything he can to get back out on that field for the Chiefs as soon as possible.
Mahomes isn't reckless. He's calculated. His diversified empire, sports ownership, real estate, tech, and endorsements shows he's not just playing football. Instead of chasing every last dollar, Patrick Mahomes is investing in something bigger, sustained success, and long-term financial stability. When you step back and look at the full picture, he's not just an elite quarterback. He's a financial mastermind in cleats. Mahomes has transformed on-field dominance into a massive business empire fueled by record-breaking contracts, elite endorsement deals, and carefully chosen investments. From sports franchises and real estate to global ventures, he's building a system designed to pay off long after the final snap of his career. His strategy is clear: diversification, community roots, and long-term growth. Nearly every dollar he earns finds its way back to Kansas City, whether through ownership stakes, local businesses, or investments that bring jobs and pride to the city that launched his career. It's a blueprint that shows how athletes can turn temporary fame into lasting financial security. But when you line this financial reality up against Stephen A. Smith's fiery critiques, the conversation gets complicated. Stephen A. judges Mahomes through performance, spotlight moments, and championship expectations. Mahomes, on the other hand, is making decisions that stretch far beyond Sunday afternoons. For Mahomes, it's about legacy. He's thinking decades ahead, combining elite play with financial independence in a way few athletes ever manage. And that's where the debate explodes. Fans, analysts, and media voices are split right down the middle. One side sees loyalty. They view Mahomes as the ultimate team-first leader, willing to sacrifice a few million to keep the roster strong and the championship window wide open. To them, he's humility, leadership, and rings over riches. The other side sees risk. They argue Mahomes is being too generous, possibly leaving money on the table because of his deep ties to Kansas City. Some even believe the front office benefits from knowing he won't push for every dollar available. That divide highlights a deeper tension in modern sports: individual value versus team loyalty versus financial worth. To supporters, Mahomes is redefining greatness. To critics, he's playing it too safe financially. Still, no one disagrees on this. Mahomes is changing how athletes think about money, power, and legacy in the NFL. When asked in May 2023 about other quarterbacks landing bigger paydays, Mahomes didn't hesitate. He said he cared more about championships than the biggest paycheck. NFL legend Steve Young even stepped in to back Patrick Mahomes, praising his willingness to adjust contracts to help Kansas City stay stacked. Young made it clear that moves like that directly improve Super Bowl odds, and he framed Mahomes as the total opposite of mercenary athletes who chase the highest bidder. Instead, Mahomes is viewed as a true franchise cornerstone, a quarterback willing to sacrifice a few million to keep elite talent around him and sustain a championship window. According to Steve Young, more players should study Mahomes' approach because it's about winning first, not squeezing every dollar. Fans often point to Mahomes' repeated restructures, including the major one in March 2024, as proof he's playing chess, not checkers. That move freed up cap space and allowed the Chiefs to secure key contributors like offensive lineman Josh Simmons and defensive standout Ashton Gillow, giving the roster the depth needed to stay on top, as reported in May 2025. Compared to quarterbacks who demand record-setting deals and lock their teams into cap trouble, Mahomes looks balanced. He's still earning generational wealth while keeping flexibility for team upgrades. But not everyone sees it as perfect. A growing group of fans and analysts argue Mahomes is being too generous. They believe his contract doesn't reflect his true market value or historic impact, especially as new mega deals rolled in for Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and others. What once looked team-friendly now feels like a discount. That frustration boiled over in May 2025 when a viral post from a Chiefs insider accused ownership of benefiting too much from Mahomes' loyalty. The wording stirred controversy, but the message hit home. Many fans felt his modest annual average undervalued everything he's done for the franchise. Online critics also point out that despite Mahomes freeing cap space, Kansas City's offensive line and receiver depth still lag behind other elite teams. That only fuels the narrative that the Chiefs rely too heavily on Mahomes' brilliance instead of fully supporting him. Some fans argue he missed his chance after his third Super Bowl win in 2024 to reset the quarterback market entirely. To them, that moment was leverage, and passing on it was either admirable loyalty or costly restraint. In multiple interviews, including one with ESPN in July 2024, Patrick Mahomes made his stance crystal clear. He doesn't feel underpaid, and he's proud of how the Chiefs stay competitive while keeping roster flexibility. Mahomes openly said he's satisfied with his contract because it allows Kansas City to keep the pieces needed to chase more championships. To some, that's elite leadership. To others, it sounds like careful diplomacy meant to keep peace with the front office. Either way, Mahomes' message has stayed consistent. He's focused on building something bigger than money, a dynasty that locks his name into football history forever. While fans argue and analysts dissect every angle, major outlets continue to spotlight just how rare Mahomes' run really is. In February 2025, CNN pointed out that Mahomes, still not even 30 years old, already owns 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 championships, and multiple MVP awards. They described him as a once-in-a-generation player whose impact goes far beyond box scores. It's not just production, it's preparation, discipline, and leadership. Mahomes sets the tone for the entire Chiefs organization. Teammates have echoed that repeatedly, calling him the standard everyone measures themselves against in the locker room. Even veterans understand that when Mahomes speaks, the room listens. And yes, even Stephen A. Smith, for all his heat and criticism, can't deny the impact. His only concern is whether Mahomes' humility could someday cost him financially. That's the tension at the heart of this entire debate. For now, Mahomes stands steady, a superstar balancing fame, fortune, and football with almost impossible composure. His journey proves greatness isn't just about contracts or stats. It's about leadership, sacrifice, winning the right way, and building a legacy that lasts long after the final whistle. So now the question is yours. Is Patrick Mahomes making the right call by choosing legacy over maximum money, or should he eventually demand every dollar his value commands in today's NFL? If you enjoyed this breakdown of Patrick Mahomes' story, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in sports. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you on the next one.